After the winter snows had melted, Caesar quickly made his way back to Rome to begin campaigning for the consulship, the final office on the path of honors. He had been reluctantly granted a triumph by the Senate for his victories in Spain, a dream of Caesar for years that would guarantee his enduring status as a successful military commander. A triumph was the highest honor Rome could grant a general, and so was not conferred lightly on any man. The Senate was full of optimates who hated Caesar and the populist politics he championed. They knew that a triumphal parade would only help his standing among the common people. But in spite of their animosity, the optimates shared with the rest of Rome a genuine admiration for an excellent soldier. Not enough of Caesar's enemies could bring themselves to deny him a well-earned victory parade, even if it was to their own detriment. Caesar would mount his four-horse chariot in the field of Mars dressed in glowing robes and accompanied by his lictors as a guard of honor. Trophies of his conquest would be heaped on carts before him, and notable prisoners captured in the war would march in chains with heads bowed low. Even in the midst of such glory, however, the Romans dared not offend the gods. A slave would stand in the chariot behind Caesar during the whole parade, whispering in his ear, "Remember, you are mortal." Caesar's soldiers would bellow obscene songs as their commander drove through the Forum and up to the top of the Capitoline Hill, where he would sacrifice to Jupiter. But Caesar faced a conundrum. As a general awaiting a triumph, he had to remain outside the walls of Rome. His imperium as a commander would be lost, as would his triumph, if he entered the gates of Rome before the morning of the parade. Yet it was also a law that a candidate for consul had to appear personally within Rome's walls as a private citizen before the election. Caesar sent a message asking the Senate if they would bend the rule this once and allow him to run for consul while remaining outside the city. The senators debated the matter, with many willing to grant Caesar his request. But when Cato saw that the Senate was going to vote in favor of Caesar, he invoked an ancient privilege allowing him to speak without interruption as long as he wished. As Senate meetings could be held only during the day, Cato filibustered for hours until the summer sun set over the Tyrrhenian Sea. Since there were no days left for further debate, Cato and his optimate allies congratulated themselves on at least postponing Caesar's rise to the consulship for another year, and in a year anything might happen. Of course, as a triumph was an incredible honor to be remembered for generations. No Roman in his right mind would ever trade it for the chance to run for any political office, not even consul. But early the next morning, Caesar left his tent on the field of Mars, clad in a shining white toga, and walked deliberately toward the city gate just north of the Capitoline Hill. The few who were awake at that hour must have stared open-mouthed as they realized what he was about to do. Passing under the gate, he crossed the sacred boundary of the city and thereby forfeited his triumph. No one could believe that Caesar would give up such an honor, but once again he proved to friends and foes alike that he was not just a somebody. He was a Caesar.